Hello, welcome back to Fruit Salad, and welcome to Doctor Who. The first of the 60th anniversary specials aired the other day, when I'm recording this, and it's finally here, marking the return of Russell T Davies, David Tennant, Catherine Tate, the rest of the golden era gang like Julie Gardner, Phil Collinson, that lot there. After, 15 years I've not been here in two separate production teams over those 15 years. The Star Beast is the episode that marks the start of this new era. So we're going to go over the story and say what I think about it. The episode begins with a strange and rather cheap-looking recap of the events of Series 4, which is vital to understanding the plot of this special, and I'm assuming the following two as well. I'm too lazy to explain the whole last plot of a series, but a basic summary of the end. Donna absorbed some Time Lord goop, and then the Doctor had to wipe the memory of him and everything to save her life because of it. And if she ever remembers him, she's gonna die. I'm just gonna assume you know the plot of Series 4. Anyway, on with the story. The TARDIS lands and the freshly regenerated 14th Doctor emerges from it into Camden at night. Confused as to why he has his old face back, but he appears to be enjoying his time. He sees somebody struggling to carry some boxes and goes over to help them. He lifts the box off, only to find it's Donna. She's then calling over Rose, which confuses the Doctor slightly, but it's her daughter. I wonder why she chose that name. Anyways, in typical Doctor Who fashion, a spaceship then immediately crashes, and Donna and a spaceship that. Anyway, in typical Doctor Who fashion, a spaceship then immediately crashes, and Donna and Rose dip to go home, and the Doctor gets a taxi to go over to the crash site, and the taxi is actually driven by Donna's husband, Sean. Now, there's some good elements in this scene here in the taxi. There's a good amount of comedy, good dialogue, and some nice callbacks for long-term fans like Nerys, my goat, Nerys, let's go Nerys.
How is she?
She's fine.
After the accident.
She's not fine.
Well, it was her fault.
She's been fine.
The Doctor arrives at the crash site and goes to check it out, and has a little chat with UNIT's new scientific advisor, who for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of, even though I've watched the episode 3 times for this review, and I can't remember her name, but she's there. And he has a little chat with her about why he got the face back, or why he's confused about why he got the face back. And he has a little chat about Donna as well, and kind of gives that extra exposition in case you missed the recap at the beginning for whatever reason. You are then caught up to speed there. Meanwhile, Rose discovers this adorable little thing, Beep the Meep, who tells her that he's being hunted down by these monsters. So Rose takes Beep the Meep into her shed to hide him and keep him safe. While this is all happening, some UNIT soldiers get possessed by some purple space goop from the crashed ship. The Doctor turns up at the Noble's house and discovers Beep the Meep alongside Donna. Donna's mum Sylvia is freaking out at this point because at any point she could remember and just die, which, to be fair, is a valid reason to be freaking out about this. The scene has some really good comedy in it, and it manages to balance the comedy along with the threat really well, and the seriousness and risk that faces Donna in this moment. It feels very Series 4. Very, very Unicorn and the Wasp. What's that? The writer of the Unicorn and the Wasp is a massive cunt? Huh. Fuck you, Gareth Roberts. Anyways, the following scene is a wonderful scene in which they talk about Wilf, which is really lovely. And it hits extra hard knowing in reality his actor Bernard Cribbins has sadly passed away midway through filming the specials. It's actually the last thing he did before his passing.
There is one person missing. I used to know your granddad, Wilf.
He's not with us anymore.
Right. Of course. He wasn't young, he was... I love that man. I'm so sorry for your loss.
He's not dead, you idiot. He's in sheltered accommodation. He's 94. He can't manage the stairs.
And in hindsight, the fake-out death joke might seem a bit in bad taste, but you've got to remember this was all written and filmed before his passing. I mean, yeah, they could have gone back and changed it, but, we know Wilf is in the later specials, so, I mean, it doesn't bother me too much, but I can understand why some people might be slightly upset about that scene. Although, just hearing about how much the Doctor cares about Wilf is wonderful. Suddenly, the Wrath Warriors, or the Wrath Warriors, or whatever they're called, I don't know what they're called, everyone calls them different things, and I'm confused. They blow up into the house and try to get Beep the Meep, so all the family and the Doctor and Meep are all running away to safety, basically, and they manage to escape the house and get to Sean's taxi to escape. And upon their escape, the Doctor discovers that one of the possessed soldiers has actually been, is still alive. He checks his pulse and he's still alive, even though he's been shot. So this makes him slightly suspicious of what's going on. And they go to an underground car park. In the underground car park, there is a little court scene, which is actually, I don't know where he got his wig from, but he did. You know, it's a nice little scene, you know, that has a bit of comedy and everything in it. But in this scene, it's revealed that the Wrath Warriors are actually some sort of, non-lethal intergalactic police sort of thing. And Meep is actually, from the race of the Meeps, who kind of went insane and, ate a load of people. And the Meep, this is the last one, and it's the leader, of the Meeps. So it was actually super evil, and then the Meep kills the warriors and takes the noble family and the Doctor in as hostages. They're taken to the steelworks where the ship crashed, but it turns out it actually landed there for repairs. And along the journey to these steelworks, there's a lovely scene that plays out in the back of, I think, a truck, in which it's revealed what Donna did with all her lottery money that the Doctor won her at the end of The End of Time Part 2. And it's revealed that she gave it all away to charity to be like him, which, is really nice, and it goes to show, there's always been a slight recollection of the Doctor in there, even though her mind's been wiped completely, it's still subconsciously ticking away, doctoriness, so that's why she did all that. They are saved by the scientific advisor, whose name I have forgotten, with her weaponized wheelchair. And then she fires a missile out of her wheelchair, which blows up a wall to allow the family to get to safety. And then Donna goes back with the Doctor. Holy shit, bro. And then she calls him Doctor, and she doesn't know his name. He never said his name, so how does she know his name? There's a brilliant line from Sylvia in here when she leaves and goes back. She called him Doctor. And the sheer just worry and dread in her voice is top notch, bro. That is amazing. As the Doctor is trying to stop the ship from taking off, the Meep splits the control room into two. So the Doctor is in one half of the room and Donna is in the other, meaning he has to restore her memories in order for them to save the day. And what comes up is the most spectacularly written, scored, acted scenes of the entire episode. I'm just going to play a little bit of that scene here. It really does hit hard.
It's not just Rose. It's 9 million people who cares about me.
I do.
Why? I'm just no one.
No, you are not! Why does it have to be this?
They stopped the Meep, saving London, as the city was going to be burnt as fuel for the takeoff because of the double-bladed dagger drive the ship has, which burns just the ground in order for the ship to take off. But Donna drops to the floor. She's about to die from the meta crisis. But she doesn't. Because it passed down into Rose too, which buys them more time, and the Donna and Rose just let the regeneration energy go, which I have feelings about, but whatever. This then saves Donna and allows her to keep all her memories, which is really nice. And they agree to go on one last trip in the TARDIS to go and meet Wilf, just to put a smile on his face, Put a smile on his face, the Doctor and Donna met once more, and she remembers, all of that. So they climb aboard the beautiful, massive new TARDIS, which is just stunning. Only for Donna to spill some coffee on it and it explodes. And it's a cliffhanger. Where are we going to end up? I don't know. And yeah, that is where the episode ends. So overall, what do I think? Well, it's an incredible return to form. Having a grand total of one good episode from the last 6 years. It is an incredible return to form. It's a very, very fun time. It's got good writing, it's got good pacing, it's got good comedy, it's got good drama, it's got good directing, it's got good acting for once, and it's got good music for once, which those are the two things that we've been fucking lacking on. And the writing, actually, the writing is number one. Writing, acting, music has all been fucking dreadful this last era, but it's over now. Yippee! Overall, yeah, it's a very, very enjoyable time when there's lots there for long-term fans, although I would not recommend this to be a starting point if you are not an existing fan. It's kind of built upon you having knowledge of a series which came 15 years before, and if you don't have it, I don't really see you following the plot of this episode or really enjoying it. So honestly, if you haven't seen it, which I don't know why you'd have watched this far into here if you haven't, but like, it is not a good jumping on point. Wait until the Christmas special if you want to start watching, because that is when we get like a whole new Doctor and all of that, and the whole era will start, you know, whole Doctor, new companion. So if you're going to start watching, you haven't yet, start the Christmas special, or I'd recommend go back to 2005's Series 1, or Series 5, the opening 11th hour. That's also a good jumping on point. They're kind of your two good jumping on points, unless you want to go all the way back to the classic era. And that's a long fucking watch if you want to get through that, believe you me. There are a few scenes I want to talk about, scenes that will particularly get certain corners of the internet a little bit upset. You know, the type of people I'm talking about that are getting upset are like the type that got upset that there's a pronouns option in Starfield. Those, you know the people I'm talking about. Especially them, you know, no hair and stuff like that. Look like a thumb. The scene I want to talk about first does involve Rose. And Rose, along with her actor, is transgender and is dead-named in the episode. Some boys on bikes ride past and dead-name her and call her Jason. I think her name was Jason before she transitioned. Or her character's name, I don't know what her actual name was. But yeah, she's just dead-named in a derogatory manner. And, you know, there's a really nice scene that follows it a little bit after with Donna and Sylvia, in which Sylvia's, you know, a little bit, she messes up, you know, but it's clear she's trying her best. And I think that'd be really relatable to families that, you know, that know a transgender person in their family, or are a transgender person themselves within their family, you know, and it just kind of shows, like, you know, people do mess up from time to time, but they're trying their best, you know? People try their best, and I think it's good for the transgender people themselves as well to, you know, have that sort of representation and see that and go, you know, that person is like me and they're on Doctor Who, you know? That person is like me, and, you know, just having that sort of representation there, I think, is actually really, really important, you know, as well as having those moments, like with Sylvia. I think the quote she says is like, is she gorgeous? Am I supposed to say that? Is it sexist? I never said it to him when he was... And then she cuts off and she realised, you know, what she said. But it's stuff like that, which I think is like a really relatable thing. You know, that goes to show, yes, she does mess up from time to time, but she, you know, she does really care and does try. And I think that's fantastic. There is one scene I want to talk about, though, which I don't want to say rubbed me the wrong way, but it just felt kind of unnecessary. And that's where when Donna and Rose give up their regeneration energy, and they say, like, it's something a male-presenting Time Lord would never have thought of. Well, first off, you know, she was like, I wish you were still a woman, because you'd have understood then. Well, clearly she fucking didn't, because she was a woman, and if she'd have understood, she'd have fucking done it, or thought of it, you know, to come and do something. So that clearly didn't happen, so that's a load of bollocks, right? But, you know, it could have just been something like, oh, it's something that the Doctor would never understand or something. I don't know, it felt kind of unnecessary, that bit. And the fact that they can just give up their regeneration energy, even though it's previously been established with multiple different eras of multiple different Doctors, where they've been like, you know, no matter how hard I try to die, every cell in my body keeps trying to regenerate and do all that stuff, you know. I think a 12 Doctor said at some point, it says like killing a Time Lord properly would take years or something, you know, because they just keep going. So them just being able to go, it's gone, I think is a little bit stupid. You know, it's been like, this thing has been threatening my life for 15 years. Oh, it's gone. You know, like, yeah. stuff like that. Maybe I'm not too keen on, but you know, the rest of the episode I found absolutely stellar. I also quickly want to touch on Unit's new scientific advisor, which I know people are going to be having some issues with, but those people can suck my dick. Basically, she is in a wheelchair, as I previously mentioned, and there's one scene in which some soldiers want to show her up in the ship, but there's stairs up to the ship, and he goes, "Oh, sorry about the stairs," and then she goes, "Don't make me the problem, just go up there." And again, I think that's an amazing thing, is to have that sort of representation to show someone in a wheelchair that's high up. And later on, the doctor says, "You've got weapons in your wheelchair," and she says, "We all have." You know, I think that's amazing. I do see people getting angry at this. In fact, I know people get angry at this because I've seen it. But, you know, that I think again is an amazing thing. Because if you're someone in a wheelchair, or if you are a child in a wheelchair especially, you know, and you've got your whole life ahead of you, and I feel like that would hit. I mean, I can't speak. I'm not trying to like speak on behalf of that, but like, it's, you know, having that sort of thing and seeing, look, there is this person in the wheelchair that is this high up in this sort of organization, you know, scientific advice. This is the thing the doctor used to do, right? So, you know, it's that high up in that sort of like chain, saying you can do it and you can get there. And he says, we all have. It says there's lots of people there, you know, at Unit. You know, I just think that is amazing, and a huge pat on the back for Russell Davies for that, because I do see that helping a lot of people in wheelchairs, you know, that watch it. So yeah, a huge, amazing, you know, W for them. And then it's just really the only scene I have an issue with is them giving away the regeneration energy. And yeah, there's going to be some corners of the internet that are absolutely furious at all those things I've just mentioned. You know, all those scenes, oh, these wokeness, you know, but like, yeah, if it helps people. You know, you're watching a show about a shape-shifting alien from outer space with a box that's bigger on the inside and the outside and go anywhere and can change their body to be anything, and your biggest issue is someone in a wheelchair. You know, like, I just think having that representation is great. Huge return to, like, actual good Doctor Who. You know, it's been 6 years. You know, the visuals are stunning. You know, they have budget now. The music is incredible. Having Murray Gold back for the soundtrack, it's amazing. There is actually one more part of this episode I'm not a fan of, and that is the intro, and there's 2 reasons why. One, the music is not synced up to the fucking visuals at all. You know, normally where it goes, they show the names of the actors, and that's when it goes, woo! Yeah, well, not now. It just kind of just does it, just when it feels like it. And something else that I'm not too keen on, I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful sequence. I'm probably showing it now while I'm talking about it. It's an absolutely beautiful sequence. But there's camera cuts, and the camera cuts just kind of like disrupt the flow, because we never really had camera cuts in an intro sequence before. It's all just kind of been one continuous thing, and I think that's a lot better, because it just flows so much better. Having the camera cuts make it much more... And yeah, I'm not a fan of those camera cuts at all. So I'm not really a huge fan of the new intro, and the logo sliding in looks absolutely awful. But other than that, you know, when my 2 biggest problems of an episode of Doctor Who are one scene and the intro sequence, you know, it's a really good episode of Doctor Who. If you're a fan of the show, you already have watched it, so I don't, you know, whatever. It's very good. It's a return to goodness. Welcome back, Doctor Who. Welcome back, Doctor Who. It's been a long while.